Welcome to How to Run, your comprehensive video guide to unknown river sections. Here you will get to see every inch of a river from a drone's perspective, followed by in-boat footage showing you how to safely navigate the rapid sections. No more wondering what's around the corner or how far between rapids. Here you will learn the name of every rapid and know when to expect them. Water levels may vary, and any flow change can drastically change runs. These videos are not absolute. Whitewater rafting is an inherently dangerous sport. These videos are not a replacement for experience or the ability to read and run whitewater. Please be safe and make good decisions. Hello, and welcome to the Middlefork of the Flathead River. This put in here is Moccasin Creek. This is located about 10 miles east of the West Glacier entrance to Glacier National Park. This put in is a 3 on the river access scale. There is a great highway sign that points towards the launch. You can drive all the way down to the boat launch nice and easy, less than a quarter mile off the road, and you can go straight from your trailer onto some water pretty easily. This little creek here does end up getting fairly shallow, so you do have to do a little bit of light portaging or pushing and pulling on the boat to get it down to this little deeper creek right here. But all in all, it's pretty easy to actually get your boat in the water. This is actually a really nice put-in for a lot of reasons, as far as being so close to the road and being able to get in and out pretty quickly. However, there is one big problem. First one being there are about 4 different companies that run on this section, and between those companies and the private boaters, there are about 100 boats an hour coming through here in the middle of the summertime. Now, this little section of water right here is called Deerlick Creek. It does move really slowly, so you are going to have to paddle or row to get through here. But as you can see right here, it does meet up with the Middlefork Flathead after about 2,200 feet. After you meet up with the Middlefork, you're going to have 3.6 miles until you actually get to the first rapid. However, there are a few things to think about here. First off, these little islands that you see here, depending on the water level, I like to call these braided islands. At certain flows, the water will go different directions around these islands, and there's almost always some wood deposited on the upstream side of them. These paths do change year to year depending on what high water does. So from year to year, this can be a little bit different. American Whitewater lists this section as a Class 3+, and on this particular day we were running it, it was running 3,730 CFS. This is a railroad access road that some people like to use as an alternate put-in so that they can skip all of that flat water that we just flew over. You do have to carry down from almost the highway there, so it is a little bit of extra work, and you cannot park there as far as I know. But you can skip what looks like just about 3 miles worth of flat water. This tunnel here is the indicator that we are coming up on our first rapid of the day. Funny enough, they call this one Tunnel Rapid. This is a very easy read and run section. The entire river channel pushes over to the far left side of the river. There is that little bit of motion there on the right, but I don't think that's worth hitting. The line is pretty center left here. Just line up for the highest waves in the section. Once you make it through that first big hit, you're going to go slightly right. The only real issue here that you need to worry about is that there is a rock sitting in the middle of the river just underneath the surface located right here. This is Bone Crusher Rapid. This is probably the best wave train on the river. Whole lot of fun. You do need to start out on the, slightly center right. But before you actually get to the first real hits, you want to be more center left, moving slightly right. Pretty good, fun wave train here. Stay in it, and you're going to get 4 or 5 really good hits out of it. They call this section Washboard. The main run, pretty much most of the time, is going to be on this far right side. You can push up to this pillow wave and have a little bit of fun. However, at higher water levels, there does get to be a slightly decent wave train on that far left side. It does make you pretty much miss out on that pillow wave on the right, though. Once you're through there, you're going to come through here, and you can get a little bit of a splash off this wave on the right. This little rapid section here is called Jaws. It is pretty inconsequential at these water levels. This first little section here, there's a little bit of a hole in the middle, but you can go left or right around it, get a couple waves off of it. And then the river does come up and just make a natural right turn right here. Honestly, best spot to be is pretty center left, basically facing towards that little rock jetty, pointing out there. That's where you're going to get your biggest hits, biggest waves at most water levels. Next, you're coming up on what is one of the more technical and fun parts of this river section. When you're coming through here, you do want to line up on this far right side right here. There's a nice little green tongue, pretty easy to hit. Now, in this section, there are two decent-sized holes that you do need to watch out for. The safe and easy run is definitely just moving around this right side here, but there's a little bit more fun, adventurous green tongue right there if you wanted to shoot between those two holes. Coming into here, this is Pinball Rapid. Pretty straightforward for the most part. However, the center current here is actually really narrow, and it's actually pretty hard to keep a raft just going straight in here. As its name gives, it does give you the opportunity to accidentally bounce off some of these rocks coming through here. Just stay safe, stay off the rocks. This is a fun little spot called Repeater. A lot of locals like to stop here, pull over, and there's actually a nice little hydraulic that you can jump into. Great spot to spin, great spot to pull over on this big rock bar here. Have a few drinks, slow down your trip a little bit. After Repeater, there's just this nice little pillow rock down here. If you want to play around with it a little bit, you can push right up onto it. It's pretty safe. I know at higher water levels, some guides like to get the weight in the back of the boat and push up onto it. If you do want to just stay safe, all you got to do is move left. There's a few exposed rocks in the center of the channel here. So move left of the pillow rock and then right of those rocks. Unfortunately, on this day, due to the weather, we could no longer have the drone pilot follow us down the river. So everything you see will be taken from the GoPro's perspective. I do try to speed a lot of this video up, as well as keep the raft oriented downstream as much as possible, just to give a good view to you guys, my viewers. We are coming up on a narrow section that is called the Notch. It's pretty easy to run. You can stay center left, center right. Just pretty much pick the bigger waves and do what feels right. Pretty safe coming through here for the most part. Stay off the rocks on the right side. You should be fine. Welcome to Pump House Rapid. This is kind of the last real piece of moving water on this section. I like to line up on the right side here. You get these couple of waves. You follow that main current that takes a sweeping right turn, and there gets to be a decent little wave train right there, kind of all the way through this section if you stay in it. Slightly higher water levels can be a lot more fun in this section. Those rocks back there at the beginning, when they're underwater, they do create a couple more waves that are a little bit more fun to play with, as well as this lead out wave train and a little bit bigger. Right now, we are coming up on the Belton Bridge. This is the original entrance bridge to West Glacier. This is another great spot to pull over and take a little break if you want to. This bridge is one that people jump off of a lot. It is very nice and deep in that center channel right there. One thing to remember is that water is cold. After this point, there's only one small little ledge, but no real chance of flipping, falling out of your boat, or getting very decent splashes up over the edge. We are coming up on the current West Glacier Bridge. A thing to remember about this bridge is that frequently, especially earlier in the year, that river left side does like to catch up some wood that likes to hang out past that first bridge pylon quite a bit. So as you're coming up to that, just make sure you're always keeping an eye on it and being safe. Next up is the takeout. It is referred to as the West Glacier Golf Course boat launch. I do give this a much higher score. I give this an 8 on the river access scale. It is really far off the road, and there's not a single sign mentioning a boat launch or a river access until you get out there. However, once you find it, getting out to the water isn't too bad. There's a few rocks that you have to drive over, but the roads are actually pretty decent all the way back.